second ever episode of the Inappropriate Earl cast. The first episode went off without a hitch.
Except he didn't really record it.
Well, it was recorded in mono sound, let's just say. But today, I am humbled and honored as my second guest ever on the Inappropriate Earl cast. This guy is an institution in the L.A. comedy scene. The one and only, from Walnut Creek, California, via the Carolinas, Mr. Jeff Richards.
Thank you.
Now, did you ever think when you were on Saturday Night Live that you would end up on my couch doing this podcast?
Yeah, I've slept on this couch. I probably did think so. This couch, it's as if there are bones in it.
Dog bones.
Any kind of bones. I don't think you could differentiate the bones, but I mean, there's bones in it. Like it was made with bones. It's the most uncomfortable couch I've ever slept on in my life.
Well, this isn't the Arsenio Hall show. We're on a budget here. We're on a slight budget. You know, my dogs, various dogs from my past have hid their bonies in there. So.
Now, you're making a joke. But I'm talking about a couch.
I know, but I'm telling you, the dogs...
Oh, so there really is bones in the couch?
Yeah, they're dog bones. Biscuits.
Oh. I thought you were kidding.
No, dude. I don't kid around on this podcast. This is unlike any other podcast on the planet. I actually bring funny people into the realm of my household.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit of a recluse. So,
you are.
You know, no one... very few people come into my domicile.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I'm honored to be the second guest. And when you told me early on, you said, I'd like you to be the second guest. I said, wow, who is the first guest? And you go, I don't know yet.
Well,
what was that? You just knew I wasn't the first guest.
Yeah. I wanted
anybody else.
Well, you know, the first 10 people said no, and then I thought, well, Jeff should be in the loop. I mean, you have given me everything I've achieved in the world of the entertainment business.
You owe your entire career, which some would argue you don't have one. You owe the whole thing to me.
I do. You got me my commercial agent, the great Rain Agency, and right. You got me integrated into the world of Rob Schneider.
That's right.
Via the Comedy Store, the one night we met.
Yeah.
Do you remember the night we met?
Sure, of course.
In the hallway.
No, was it in the hallway or was it outside? It
was outside in the patio.
In the patio?
In the patio hallway.
You had a hockey jersey on, which you don't wear anymore. You've changed your look.
Going for a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, I remember you staring at me going, what's your deal?
Is that what I said?
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I'm a comic. And you're like, well, you got a great look. You should meet my commercial agent.
This is what I usually say to girls.
Right. But, I mean, some weeks, I think, if it was raining vagina, you'd get hit in the head with a dick. So I was probably your best option.
Sure. I agree with that. I looked at you and I said, wow, I'd like to seduce this guy into a friendship.
And we become good friends.
I mean, that's debatable.
Well, anything's possible.
I agree with that on some level.
Except at the Comedy Store.
Well, you got to take that place for what it is.
What is it?
It's a dive bar.
But, I mean, it's a nice dive bar.
It's a nice dive bar, but it's still a dive bar.
But, see, you're in there. I'm not.
I'm not in there. What are you talking about? I don't get spots.
But that's because you don't call in.
No, I called in for a long time. Barely got anything.
And what does Tommy tell you? Tommy is the talent coordinator.
Great to see you, Jeff. You look great. Stuff like that,
And what do you tell him?
I don't say anything.
Now, Tommy is the talent coordinator for you out-of-state listeners.
That's right.
And so you're in at the Comedy Store. You're in at the Laugh Factory.
I'm not in at the Comedy Store. I am in the Laugh Factory.
You're there tonight, right?
No. Last night, I'm there tomorrow.
You get the Improv a fair amount.
Get some of the Improv, but, there's not a lot to get out of the Improv.
But with someone like you who has TV credits, it's easier.
I mean, I think what's helped me is I knew the talent coordinator before he even ever moved to L.A. Just randomly, he was a friend of another friend. So I knew him before, but... it's like the whole thing. You hang out, you get to know people, they like you, they put you up, I mean, how much of it is really talent. It's really just
very little.
Who likes you.
I mean, very little of it. I would say, honestly, it's maybe 20%
It's
talent
probably 20% talent.
and 80% who you know, networking,
Sure.
the schmooze.
The schmooze.
And you're a good schmoozer.
I don't know about that. Sometimes.
But you're a very likable guy. I mean, I've never heard anyone say a bad word about you.
Well, I just think if you're a good person, good things happen, and if you come from a good place, an honest place, people pick up on that, and there are guys that push and push and push and get things too. But I don't know. I think it's just how you. I don't know, and it's who you. I mean, I don't know. It takes time too. Maybe that's the thing. You've been out here for a little while.
I mean, I've been doing comedy for 13 years, but I didn't put two and two together in terms of schmoozing.
Yeah, but you're not really like a. You kind of just stand there, and if you get to know people slowly.
Yeah.
People get to know you, and I think people get to know you on stage.
Yeah.
See, really, you come alive when you're on stage, and you're most of yourself when you're on stage.
Well, because I actually don't do comedy for the money or the fame. I just like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my stand-up act is just really me.
Yeah.
Kind of like you. You're a fun-loving guy on stage, and you're a fun-loving guy off stage. I mean, I know you've got your impressions, and which you are the best impressionist I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I'm not going to ask you to do any, but
Sure, I'll do a few.
I mean, well, we'll do that later.
I don't want to do them now.
I'm not going to ask you to do them.
Then
now.
I'll do them.
But in
Whatever you don't want, I'll do.
Well, I mean, all right, just to give the audience a taste.
Can we just do it later?
Yeah, but just give them a taste. Just give them a sentence out of Louis Anderson's mouth.
It's hot in here.
There you go. Let's say you see the
It's so hot in here. You guys leaving? That's the abridged version.
Right, that's what they call a tasty, a trailer.
It's a trailie.
Right. There'll be more to come later, and you do many others other than Louis Anderson, Dr. Phil, Gary Busey.
Trying to work on Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, that's a kind of a.
It's like a telescope, right? I mean, for as long as we do what you want to do, it's like spiritual. I mean, it's cosmic. I mean, you could ask for what you want, and you can do what you want, and at some point, you have to let go.
That's pretty good, man. It's not, but do one of me. Do an impression of me.
It's not just that.
Well, that would be Tommy.
That's you doing Tommy.
Oh, okay. See, that's how good at impressions
That's
you
how
are.
good at your impressions you are.
You just did an impression of me doing an impression
right.
of somebody else.
But I think with impressions, it's really not about how accurate they are. It's just about how much you make fun of the other person and how, what your angle is on it, where you're coming from.
Right. See, my impressions sound just like me. I'm not a very good impressionist.
Let's hear one of your impressions.
All right, who do you want to hear me impersonate?
Why don't you do Dolph Lundgren?
Well, he doesn't really have a lot of lines in his
What
movies.
about
How about Schwarzenegger?
how about Joe Rogan?
I don't really know what he talks about. I mean, I know his UFC stuff.
Let's hear some of that.
All right, this is Joe Rogan doing. There's a big card tomorrow night, UFC 168 in Vegas. It's the rematch of Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman, and got the girl fight, Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. So I'll do. Let's just say Rousey's going to put Tate in an armbar, and Rousey's got Tate in an armbar. That was my Joe Rogan.
So
impression.
you set that whole thing up for a sentence.
Yeah. But you asked. I mean, I was.
So you're all set up.
Yeah. No punch.
It's okay. Everybody's got a different style.
Well, my style, I'm like Bruce Lee when they asked him about his style in Enter the Dragon. He's like, my style is the art of fighting without fighting.
Yeah.
That was my Bruce Lee
It
impression.
was fantastic.
And a quick shout out to Ari Manis, who is the producer of this show. He's the one responsible for the sound being the quality that it is, because I obviously couldn't do it on my own.
Now, why wasn't he here the first one?
He has to work on Saturday afternoons, and that was the only time Galern and Jason Washington could do it.
Uh-huh.
And it was a great podcast, but I probably messed up a little bit on the execution.
You're working the kinks out.
Well, yeah, I mean, having a podcast in 2014 is like being in an 80s metal band in 1994. It's a little late in the game, but I'm doing my best. Just little baby steps, just trying to make
It's
it.
just something to do. It's like, exercise. You're walking around the block.
Well, I think it's a good way to increase your fan base. You could literally reach the world, and until I get more established in the world of stand-up, it's a good way to get the name out there.
Sure.
I'm having trouble getting established. Fake it till I make it.
Well, you have trouble with the establishment.
Well, I've done all I can at most of the clubs, so now until you...
But it is so much, too. I mean, you talk about who you know and all that kind of stuff, but it really is the business, isn't it? I mean, how do you get spots? Well, you start a show.
Right.
How do you get an album? Well, you make an album, and then you release it on your own.
I mean, I did release an album on my own, and
But then it's not just that.
Well, what is it?
It's sort of like also, right? I mean, you know this. So you watch a guy, and their album comes out, and they go, well, how did it sell that many albums? But they know how to network. They know how to promote it. They know how to, get into magazines and, I don't know, all the different things
Yeah,
that we're learning and stuff like that.
I mean, I started out with Whitney at the Sportsman's Lodge, which was an outdoor patio gig. And, she became probably the most powerful player in the business, and I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah, but are you happy with your life?
Yeah, I like my life.
Well, then that's it.
Are you happy with yours?
Sure.
I mean, you've achieved the level of success very few people do in this business.
Yeah, but then I was humbled, and then then I'm building back up, and now I feel like I'm in a good place right now, and
I mean, you are, and I know this was part of my intro for 3 years when we hit the road with Deuce Bigalow, and it's quite a big deal. The only person to be a cast member of both Mad.
That's what you would screw the intro up every time.
Of Mad TV and Saturday.
You only
Night Live.
cast member to be a cast member.
Well, it's true.
Well, that's not true. Cast members are cast. Every cast member is a cast member.
But not at both shows.
That's right. But now there's another guy. There's a guy on.
I think Tehran Killiam, or he was the only other person to do that. I don't know who he is. Maybe I could get him as the third.
He's on
guest.
there now. Well, you maybe get him on right now, and I'll just leave.
Well, we can't do that.
All right.
We're in the middle of a shoot. And I'm going to get phone calls, not today because it's not part of the technology, but we're going to have the ability to take live phone calls.
Really?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be different than most podcasts.
You're just trying to set yourself apart.
Well, yeah, I mean, most podcasts are horrible, I find. Just stock answers, stock questions, which was why I was allured into getting the porn star Jason Washington on, because I thought, wow, no one's ever heard a porn star talk about.
I love Jason Washington. My memories of him from the store a while ago. He noticed he was like a guy that he would chew gum and then drink red wine at the same time. And I thought, wow, that's just a fun look, a fun way to be.
And
you know what I mean? Like, because he's probably got all the flavor out of the gum, so it's just a process of chewing, and then having a sip of red wine every now and then. I thought that was fantastic.
Well, it must have made his teeth look interesting, shades of different colors.
Sure. Marbled.
Yeah, I mean, red, a little red.
Right.
Now, what are you're into the music scene now. I mean, you obviously you do stand-up, but you've really gotten in because your first album, Ass Wax for Hunger, I loved the song, What's the Guy Got to Do to Get His Ass Eaten?
Out around here.
I mean, that with the video was great.
Thanks.
Vicky Barbalack.
Sure.
Bobby Lee, Brody Stevens.
Stefan Arburl.
The great Yoshi Obayashi.
Sure. Nick Pilato, who's a drummer of Slayer now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What part was he in?
He
the
was
video?
just in when they had the guys, Tom Dash, Mr. Joe Nash, and
Right.
then they would all stand there. He was very, very quick thing,
But I mean, that was a great single and the album.
that was cool. And I got the greatest hits. What's called Jeff Richards, The Shingles.
That's coming out.
Yeah, that comes out in the spring.
Now, like what we were just talking about, you're releasing it on your own,
That's right.
on your website.
On the website, $1.
For the whole album.
The whole thing, 10 songs.
You don't think that's too cheap?
I don't know. It's like I don't think so because I look at it the same thing as like, volume sort of, and also people can listen to anything they want to for free. Just go on YouTube, listen to a whole album for free. It's up there. Anybody. So, I feel like $1 is like a nice thing, and it's also like, well, who doesn't have just $1? People give dollars out in the street. So I thought that was the right price, 10 cents a song,
That's a good deal.
and also it's not really about the money really. It's just about the live shows give you the money, I think.
No, you're gonna have like hard copies of CDs and.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I don't know. I guess so, but then it's like those cost more to make than $1, don't they?
I don't know.
So I don't know if it would make any sense.
I'm only on iTunes, man.
Yeah.
I'm not messing around anymore.
Maybe what you do with those things, maybe you do make them and you just say, give me what you want to give me for it.
Well, I've seen you. You are a brilliant salesman. After shows with Rob, you would literally just rip open the plastic covering and shove it in someone's hand and go, "Who do you want me to make it out to?"
Yeah.
And they would.
Well, that's the funnest part of the shows to me is afterwards at the merch table. It's becoming like this, like an infomercial, like a sham wow type character that morphs into, just gets in people's faces. The real hardcore salesman, almost to the point of, volatile.
I mean, you were like guerrilla marketing 101. I mean, people would ask you, "Is Rob in this video?" You go, "Yeah, sure." Well, you wouldn't really answer the question.
Yeah.
And
Rob's in it, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Who do you want? I mean, he's right next to you. And
I mean, I just like that as the whole game, I mean,
but did you feel that was false advertising?
the whole thing was false. I mean, it's probably illegal too on many levels. But that to me, that's entertainment. That's like kind of like a jungle type of entertainment. But yeah, we had fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. I mean, it was quite humbling being on the road with you guys for 3 years and like being the worst comic on the lineup every night.
It was only 3 guys, so
well, I mean,
somebody's got to be last.
Well, someone's got to be first.
Huh?
But
that's all. That's the thing about it's all subjective. It's why it's like nobody's better than anybody else. Just people get lucky, to get in different positions.
Well, yeah, but for me, it was like here I am with these 2 big TV stars.
It's not true.
It's true though. I mean, he's obviously a very one of the most famous people doing stand up. You're famous, and then there was me.
Yeah, but nobody knew I was famous.
Yeah, but people recognized you.
A little bit, maybe, but
Drunk Earl.
But you do great on stage.
Yeah, most of the time. There weren't too many bombs. Maybe 1 or 2.
I mean, you forgot to bring the recorder off stage once.
That was in Calgary. But, we hashed it out.
And then you forgot to go back out and say goodnight to everybody when you were emceeing.
Well, that was, now for what we're talking about is my first weekend with Rob and Jeff was at where Comedy Works in Denver. So I was nervous. I mean, the crowds were unlike anything I'd ever seen before. 400 people sold out. And, I'm just trying to not to mess up and trying not to swear because, I think Rob likes it pretty clean. And, I probably swear a bit in my act. So everything went well. I bring Jeff up and, I'm talking with Rob. And then Rob goes on. And I said to Jeff on the very first show, I'm like, hey, I don't go back out there when Rob's done, right? And he's like, no, he just says goodnight. So, Rob does his last joke, a huge applause break. And then Rob kind of opens the door like Lou Ferrigno and, let's just say he politely requested me to go back out there and, close out the show.
What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out there.
And I'm like, but Rob, Jeff told me, he's like.
When you went out there, I said, I don't know what's wrong with Earl.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know if we should keep this guy.
It was a real carpet bag.
Yeah.
And then,
But I didn't actually know. That was I don't know.
And then I think the second trip I almost got fired because I was farting so much on the plane.
That's right. You were unbelievable. I never seen anything like it.
Would you say that was the worst gas you'd ever seen? Smell?
You know what it was? It was just the consistent rips. I say it's unbelievable that you have that much gas in you. It was almost scary.
Well, what it was a fear of flying and incredible amount of protein and bars and powders and vitamins and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm nervous. Then I'm nervous about the shows coming up. I want to do well, and then I was just
But I love the part where you're ripping him, and then he looks over like what's wrong with him? And then, but he's trying to reach up to get to do the air thing, twist the air thing, but he's a little too short because he's belted it. He can't really reach it. No, it's funny.
he's got his napkin above his mouth and nose, so he can't.
Yeah,
I think at one point the plane smelled so bad,
unbelievable,
that the stewardess was like, "What? Do you guys smell that?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty bad, but
those
are the memories. Those are memories.
Oh yeah, I mean, also I think your insane ability to clog most toilets on the road was just.
Yeah.
I mean, you were vicious.
Well, I use a lot of toilet paper. It's not the actual, excrement. It was the toilet paper. I like to make it a big oven mitt.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
We all have our technique.
But then you turned me into Rob. Rob came in. He's like, "What the hell is this?" And then you didn't say that.
Well, that was the night we. I had to go use the shower, and I had to. There was like a rice patty of Dookie from the toilet to the shower, so I had to hopscotch all over the place to get to the shower. And Rob walked in right as I was about to leap, and he's like, you do a better impression.
Well, you go ahead. I don't even know what you're going to say.
He was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, Jeff clogged another toilet."
Yeah, but you didn't have to say another.
But I mean, he knew.
But it's just like reminding him that this is like I'm a serial toilet clogger.
But you were though,
well, that's true.
I mean, in Jackson,
I think I had 5 toilets.
I think my best memory of you was the night you clogged up the toilet in Jacksonville, and the Mexican dude came in to fix it, and the toilet was right by the bathtub, and you're naked, taking a bath with a little rubber ducky, asking the guy if he wants to come to the show tonight.
That happened, yeah.
It's possible, right?
It's 100% possible.
And then
But I just think our schedules. The janitor guy coming in, and me taking a bath, our schedules sort of intersected.
Well, absolutely.
Because I didn't know when he was going to come and fix the toilet, yet I know I need to take a bath. So those are obstacles.
To get ready for the show.
That's right. I like to relax in the bath.
Now, do you want to talk about the time I went to get ice?
Well, it's we shared a room, right?
We shared a room, and I was thirsty, and I wanted some ice with my energy drink, so I temporarily left the room.
That's right.
To go to the ice maker down the hall, and when I came back,
well, yeah, you get stressed out on the road. Maybe you're not. I don't know if I had a girlfriend at the time. I'm gonna guess I did.
I think you did.
I did, but yet, maybe you miss her. Maybe I missed her, or whatever, or just not having that comfort. You get wound up, being on your toes, doing these big gigs, and sometimes you want to release, and sometimes that's a form of masturbation, and sometimes you're in a room with somebody like yourself, and I'm not going to do it while you're there. So I feel like I had an opportunity to, rub one out, as they say. So I went into the bathroom and,
But what happened was I had walked back in from the ice maker, and these glasses, I think we were in Cincinnati, very nice hotel, but the bathroom door was kind of a see-through smoked glass type of thing where you could see into the bathroom.
You could see shadows and figures, but you couldn't see specifically.
Right, and all I saw was a figure lying on their back with a laptop on their stomach, whacking it. And that's when I thought maybe I'm not meant for the road.
But
And then, but we lasted up until I think Bellevue, Washington,
Yeah.
and then we just
Guess that's it.
well, this is it,
This is it.
and that was it.
That was it. But we had a good run.
Oh yeah, and you still hang with Schneider and perform talk.
Sometimes, yeah, he does that show at the factory, and he's got a web series coming up. I'm sure he'll be in that.
And he's got a vitamin company, I think, coming out. I mean,
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's no joke. He's not just actor, comic, producer, director. He's getting into, he's very into the Buddhist, mind and vitamin connections. So, I don't really talk to him that much anymore, but he's a pretty busy guy. So.
Yeah.
But I owe a lot to you and him. So, we're just trying to make it.
We're just grinding. I mean, is it making it, or is it we're just trying to stay busy?
We're both trying to get to the. I mean, you're trying to get back to the mountaintop. I'm just trying to get to the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got things going on. Trying to. I mean, not many people have been on the shows you've been on, and you're trying to get back to those to that level, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's to me. It's just like tackling your fears. A little bit of that. Exploring new options.
Right, like
And
the music.
Music's fun. The music videos are fun. Just trying to find, fun ways to, fun ways to have fun. Let's just say that.
Like you had a podcast yourself with the autistic comic Josh Meyerowitz, which I
Matt
loved.
Ralston, yeah.
Matt Ralston, great comic.
Yep. But I think it's like that thing of like you're saying there's a billion podcasts. What's going to make yours different? And then people go, well, it's because I'm doing it. And that's like, okay. But what are you doing?
Well, I mean, we're
Not
all
you, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like just in a general theme.
well, we're all different. That's I mean, there's only so much you can talk about on one of these things. You can't that's why I want to take phone calls eventually, and not many.
But you don't take phone calls in life. You never answer your phone.
Well, I'm not. I'm more of a face-to-face person.
Sure.
But I think it would be fun if
You're more of a Facebook to Facebook person.
Well, I started a new networking site. Ari's helping me build it. It's for white supremacists called Black Facebook. So
Don't you own Guys on Guys though too?
well, no, but I tell you what. The other day I took my MacBook into the Apple store, and this is just a little bit of advice for anyone listening right now that always clear out your cache before you bring your computer in, because for some reason the guy had to hit the G button, and ghettogaggers.com appeared on my browser like 50 times. And the guy was black, and he looked at me like, what? I'm like, trust me, go on it. You'll love it. So
Ghetto what?
ghettogaggers.com. And
Tell me about that.
I mean, it's a site where African American ladies are shown, doing certain things.
What do you mean?
I mean, just taking and giving facials. I guess I don't watch porn, but
But you were on there 50 times.
I was so enamored with the name of the website. I was like, I got to go on here.
It's just too much, though. Remember, like in the old days, you'd wait for the Victoria's Secret catalog to come?
Oh, yeah.
And then that would be it. Like, you'd pick a page. And now it's like you can look for anything, any type, and there's so many videos. Is it too much?
I mean, I used to jack off to the bra ads in the back of Cosmopolitan.
That's right.
I mean, literally, it was like a quarter-page ad of some girl with huge tits, and, now it's too graphic for me. I like a little left to the imagination.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at a porn in Blu-ray and high def and 3D with, Lexington Steel pounding this girl for like 20 minutes. I mean, after 20 minutes with Lexington Steel, a girl's vagina looks like the Sarlacc pit Boba Fett fell into.
But my thing is, too, it's like, I don't like to see dudes. I mean, everybody's got a giant dick.
I do.
And you like to see giant dicks.
No, I'm saying I have one.
Yeah, but even what you got, I'm guessing, It's not like what these guys.
No.
There's cannons these guys have. So no matter what you're watching, you feel inferior.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and then if you see some of these videos, the guy's got it's either the biggest dick you've ever seen in your life or the smallest, and it's some weird thing where they're all laughing at him. Like, I don't know what the market is. Who wants to see that? So people think that's almost like they're superheroes, and people want to be superheroes or something.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people in the agents at the big agencies in town. Their big thing is they love watching black guys have sex with white women.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a dominance thing. Like, they get off on, like how they probably get laid by telling some starlet they'll get him in a movie, and then, and then they see like Mandango or Jack Napier just pounding some poor defenseless girl.
Yeah.
It's very much a ego-driven Dwayne Dyer type deal.
Right.
You like to feel better about yourself. So, but it's too...
Now, what about your TV set?
I have a 70-inch...
Why is it green? The screen is green.
Well, the bulb's burning out.
Why don't you fix it?
I have, but it's just the TV's jacked, so I'm waiting for it to just blow up, and then I'll get a new one.
Mm-hmm. It seems like you need a new one already.
Well, I mean, this television is it's basically out of date. I mean, it's crazy.
Out of date? I don't think it has a date.
But I mean, it's crazy. It's a beautiful Sony high-def television. It's already like, now they have 3D, and now they have 4D. I mean, it's great to watch UFC on. I have a lot of UFC parties.
But you're just used to the green filler on the green screen of it.
Well, you only see the green hue if it's like a hockey game. You kind of see it. It depends on the background. Or if it's really a black. Like if I'm watching Roots, you can really see the green.
How often do you watch Roots?
A couple times a month.
Okay.
If you watch it backwards, it ends better.
Okay.
Hello. That's like if you watch Philadelphia, Tom Hanks gains weight.
Yeah, he puts on some weight.
Yeah, the lesions disappear. He's healthy as a lamb at
Sure.
the end. Do you ever watch Philadelphia?
I've never seen it.
I've never seen the full thing, actually.
I like the song though. Streets of Philadelphia.
Yeah, Streets of Philadelphia. Good soundtrack. You like music. You're a music fan.
Yeah, I like 80s. But you like different 80s. I like the gay 80s stuff. And you like the heavy metal stuff, which is also gay, but arguably more gay.
Well, you recently went to, this probably is the gayest thing I've ever seen anyone do. You went to the Pet Shop Boys with another dude.
That's right. And a girl, though. And another dude. So, yeah, a lot of dudes.
3 dudes.
Sure.
Adam, the manager at the Comedy Store.
That's right.
And who was the third dude?
His friend.
And then who was the chick?
Some girl he was sort of seeing, I think, at the time, Adam.
But the Pet Shop Boys, they put on a great show.
This is great. Great energy there. It's fun songs. Yeah, it's great.
Because people are there for the nostalgia of living there, like...
Yeah, but it's like, just like you would go see, Metallica or something like that. I don't know. You like Metallica, right?
They're too good for me. I like...
You like Rat or something.
Yeah, Rat's a great band.
Yeah, I mean, they're sort of... The Pet Shop Boys is sort of like the... like the Motley Crue,
right?
Maybe kind of,
but gayer.
Actually, gay. So yeah, gayer, but dress wise, you put them next to each other as like a lineup, and you go, who's gay? You probably pick one of the Motley Crue guys.
Well, those guys get so much ass that they, see, this is an argument I have with people like. It's been like Paul Stanley from Kiss and David Lee Roth. It's been known that they like to maybe mingle with a dude or two.
Sure.
And people say, well, that means they're gay. But to me, and I want your take on this, when you sleep with like 5,000-6,000 women and then you want a sausage, that's not gay. That's boredom. Right?
Well, I mean, you're a vegetarian for so long, and you just the curiosity of having a sausage link in your mouth is sort of maybe overwhelming.
Just in your mouth.
But then also you got to factor in drug use and really not know what's going on, and maybe Maybe they really don't know it's a guy, and they just think that's an 8-inch clitoris.
Can you ever imagine in your lifetime? You've probably set up with a couple women in your time, having so many women that you look at a guy and go, "Yeah, why not?"
I don't think so. No.
I mean,
if you want to factor in money involved, maybe bigger career issues, career options.
You mean if let's say you're in I don't know a big movie executive's office and he says, "Listen, I love Drunk Girl. I got the money. I got the sales force to blow enough of this factory so far up your wop ass you'll shit snow for a year." Sorry, that's the line from RoboCop.
Okay.
I got into it. That was my Kurtwood Smith impression.
Felt like you were going off the rails there.
Well, that was my Kurtwood Smith impression.
Okay.
He was the bad guy from RoboCop. Let's say you're in an executive's office and he says, "I got."
That's so stupid.
I got the money.
This is what guys do. Like, would you do this?
But it's I'm gonna a scenario.
All right.
I got the money. I got the connections. I got all the contacts with the A-list writers and line producers and sound guys to make Drunk Girl the movie starring you. You'll make millions of dollars on the back end on points. You just have to blow me. Do you do it?
Well, here's
it's a yes or no question. Then we can.
Here's why you don't do it. So no. The reason you don't do it is it's not like you get a receipt after you do that. That look, I paid for this. This is what I get. It's just the guy saying I can do this. So what's worse, doing that and getting the money and getting that stuff made and living with the guilt of that and the weirdness of that for yourself, or doing that and then having it not even happen? It's like taking somebody out to dinner and nothing happens. I mean that's just. It's not really taking something out there. But yeah, no.
Well, how about this? What if
But where does weirdness, where do you draw the line on weirdness? So what if the guy just says, "Listen, I'm going to give you all these things, but let me masturbate in the same room as you're in." That's where that's a gray area there.
But how about this? What if the same offer's on the table? He says, "You don't have to do anything till you get everything I promised you."
Well, then I could stiff him.
Yeah, but that's bad karma. Then they do Drunk Girl the sequel, and it bombs out quicker.
But you could argue it's bad karma that he would even put me up to that. If it's bad karma to him.
But he's just trying to make it.
I'm just trying to make it.
Well, that's what you got to do to make it.
Well, are you proposing something to me?
No, I don't have the connections. You think if I had the connections, I'd be doing this podcast? Oh.
You think I want to do Drunk Girl the movie? I mean,
it's possible.
Well, I'm not rich. Yeah.
Too
late.
Maybe you could do, I don't know, chairman of the board too with Carrot Top. A lot of unanswered questions at the end of that.
Have him call in. We'll see.
I don't know his number.
Well, let's find someone who has his number.
Well, I'm sure he's not too hard to find in Vegas. Have you ever worked with Carrot Top?
No. You know Shamatosh, though?
Yeah.
She opens for him.
I bet. I think plenty of people open for Carrot Top. I hear he has a real hyperactive sex drive. Now, let's get to the real deal while you're
Let's
here.
do that. Why don't we do that?
I mean, I
don't even know what you're going to talk about.
We've already been talking for like 45 minutes. Time flies.
There's no way.
I think we've been on it for about 45 minutes.
Well, Ari's the most tentative producer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but that's
because he hasn't laughed once, and he's been on his phone the whole time. He doesn't even know he's here. I don't even think he knows he's here.
How long has this podcast been on? 39 minutes.
Close.
So we're at Dave Parker's old number, the great Dave Parker, the Cobra for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this podcast is not going to be as long as others. Too many podcasts drag, after like the first hour and a half. People tune out after about the 39-minute mark.
That's right.
So this is bonus material right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that's smart to do a shorter podcast?
What's shorter? Are we done?
Well, we're
wrapping it up?
We're what they call in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Because I want people, you always want the audience to want more.
Okay.
And I don't want to we could do an hour and a half right now. And we could really milk it and then, talk about inside jokes that no one's going to get. And, then people are like, this is awful. They should have stopped at 39 minutes.
That's right.
Right?
I mean, I don't know. These things are weird. I mean, who knows how interesting this is to other people? We can only guess.
Yeah, but you're a funny guy. Ari's a funny guy. I'm a relatively funny guy. I mean, I think if you have funny people working together, you mine it. I mean, you know.
Well, right now we're just talking about podcasts.
Yeah, but that's people are interested
People
in
are
that.
fascinated.
I mean, not a lot of people know about the inner workings of one of these things. It's not.
Do you think people care about the inner workings?
Well, that's what we're going to find out when it's got 6 views on iTunes. I mean, having a podcast right now is like having a show on Spike TV. It's just the good ones are, few and far between.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to like give my take on things and, Inappropriate Earl.
Why do you have so many hair products?
Because I like to look
It's
good.
unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Like, you couldn't put anything else down on your counter.
But I like to look good.
Yeah, but you cut your hair off, by the way, which I think is a debatable mistake.
But I'm trying to.
I mean, you look fine, but.
Well, I did it for commercial work,
Yeah, but I don't know. Does that?
There's not many long-haired parts in the commercial world. You either get the stoner, thing, or you get like the creepy scientist, or, now I get a lot more callbacks. And
You do have a Superman head,
I do have a big head.
but it's a Superman head.
Well, what do you mean by that?
The angles to it. I mean, it's chiseled. There's bones involved.
I got a bone for you.
Bone.
Well, I did. Yeah.
What have you always wanted to ask me?
Let me see. What do you think it takes to make it? I mean, you've made it in the business.
That's not true.
But
Here's what I think it takes to make it.
because you've made it.
That's not true.
So-
Why? You have to define making it.
But
And that's why people, when they get things that are big, when other people think they've made it and they got this big thing and everybody says, "Oh, he's made it. He must feel great." No, because it's not necessarily that. It's like, it's not necessarily achievements. It's like what it is, how you grow getting to it, and how you grow when it ends, and how you grow when you get to the next thing. I just think that your mind frame of making it is, I think you got to get out of thinking about making it. I think you just got to think about just creating and, and facing your fears. And, there's 5 things you're fearful of every day. And if you avoid all of them, it's a good day for most people. It's like, but that's.
what are you fearful of?
Probably like auditions. I don't like auditioning, so it's like I kind of avoid that. And I'm gonna try to turn over a new leaf on that. Try to just have more fun with it. Prepare, and throw it away. But I think it's like that whole thing of like, the more things you get going, the less, the less you need other things. So it's like, I'll take that if it comes, but you don't need it. It's almost like you have a bunch of money in the bank, and so you don't need to take certain jobs because, or you want certain jobs, but if they don't happen, it's not as big of a deal. I don't know.
So I think people would find that fascinating that someone who's been on TV before, like yourself, and it's not just Saturday Night Live, Mad TV. You've been on like Comedy Central and Comics Unleashed with the great Byron Allen.
That's a put down.
That I'm still, I think, the only comic in the city who wasn't on that show.
But the best part of being on Saturday Night Live was getting Saturday Night Live.
Right. You're almost.
And then there are highlights as you do it, and there's ups and downs. But the best I ever felt was when I got it. So it's like getting there is huge, but what you're getting when you get there isn't necessarily, there's a lot of work involved, and there's a lot of stress and a lot of politics and problems and all these other things factor into it that everybody goes through. But it's like I remember my mom said, when I first got the show, I said, I told her I got the show, and she goes, "Well, now you got to do it." It's like a, sort of a daunting idea that you never think like. You just think getting there is so much of it, and it's an immediate goal, but it's not the whole goal is the arc of it, I think.
Did you feel that way when you got Mad TV?
Yeah, you think what you do is you think you're done, and that's not a good position to be. But you're young and the first thing he got. That's the first thing I ever got.
Mad TV.
Yeah, so you're just like, well, that's it. I'm done. I can cruise. And you don't have the work ethic.
You thought movies would come and like.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought just I don't have to do anything, and it's just, it's, when things come easy to you. I've always had things kind of come easy to me, and so it wasn't until I was like, kicked in the ass.
You mean by like leaving those shows?
Yeah, when that stuff ends, you're left. You're the same dude, and you got to figure out what's next. Just as where you're at. I mean, you got goals, right?
Yeah.
You have specific goals.
Yeah, right now.
But the idea of just making it is impossible, because what is that? What is it for you to make it?
For me, it would be just, like right now I want to get on TV as a stand-up, not because I think it would make me famous, but because it would just get me better gigs.
Right. Okay. So you really like to do is stand-up.
Yeah, that's my true love.
Okay.
That's why I want to do commercials.
And you're doing stand-up.
Not as often as I'd like. Because,
but you're doing it, aren't you?
It's very...
How often do you do it?
Well, I used to do it every night, but then, I couldn't really do open mics and stuff anymore because it's just too discouraging. Being in a room full of bitter comics and jackals. So, but to get on the better shows like the Comedy Juice, which is a big show in L.A. at all the clubs, or just the better shows with people like you on it, you pretty much have to have TV credits. So it's.
But not really. I mean, if you look at yourself as a chick, as a desirable chick, and you're a comedian, you're a hot woman comedian.
Thanks, man.
That's how you have to look at yourself. I'm a hot piece of ass, and I'm going to walk into the Improv. I'm going to wear my hockey jersey, or maybe I won't, but maybe I will. And they're going to see my ass. They're going to specifically see my ass. Okay, I'm lost. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, you gave me advice once that actually helped to this day. You said you have to sell everything you say on stage like it's the word of God. And I got what you meant. Like, even if you don't think the joke is that funny, act like it is.
Yeah, and it's, yeah.
And, Schneider gave me great advice. He said, which is kind of why I'm doing this podcast, hopefully where it goes, is become so good they can't deny you.
That's true, yeah.
And, that really...
But how much of it is showing up, too, because you like to work out at a particular time at night when you should be hanging out and meeting people.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because you go to the store, everyone's left when you get there. And I know part of your thing is you don't like to see, all the spots of people going up that you could be going up, and that's hard to see. But you don't have to go there. It's almost like that thing. The thing is like you use the same ingredients, you're gonna get the same cake. You keep. But it's like if you showed up at the Improv more, or with the Laugh Factory when I'm there, and just mill about, you got such a great look. People are gonna be interested to see what you do on stage.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're set apart. If people want to know who you are.
Well, I'm a creature of habit, so that's why I just
yeah.
Which is good and bad. It's good for the workout because I do it every day, and then maybe bad that I hang out so much at the Comedy Store because although it's a very fun
do
place.
It because it's easy though, right? It's comfortable.
It's just a habit, yeah. And everyone loves me there.
Yeah.
I get treated like a. That's why I did open mics for so long, was because I was treated like a god. Like, Earl's here, put him up. I was given like the treatment.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to go to like the real comedy clubs because it's like, who's that jackal?
That's not true. That's just what you think.
Well, yeah, it's all in my mind. But
yeah, it's on your mind. And besides, how many people get booked on shows that aren't very good? Like we're saying, it's like
plenty.
You're good, and guess what? Talent doesn't even matter that much, and you're also good. So it's like if you just put in like the showing up thing, the Woody Allen 80% is showing up.
Yeah, I'm trying to be better at that.
And what about flappers? You don't like flappers?
Yeah, it's all right.
It doesn't seem like it could lead to anything, but it's a good place to go up and stay busy.
Yeah. I'm just That's why the podcast hopefully builds a little name. Oh, Earl's doing this funny thing. He had Jeff Richards on last week. He had well, I don't know who's going to be on next week, but I mean, it's people are flaky.
But does Jamie know you at the Improv?
Oh yeah, he's cool. He basically told me, "Hey, I love you. I think you're great, but I get 8 spots a week to give out to people."
Yeah, it's true.
But I appreciated that he was honest with me. That's all I want is just, there's other people in this business who may jerk you around, and I just want to be given a straight answer. Hey, if I can get you up, I can. If not, don't be bummed out.
But when Jamie says there's only 8 spots he can give out, there's 3 or 4 times that amount given by independent bookers. So it's like
right.
He's like a percentage of that place.
Well, like you gave me my last spot there on the Kevin Farley show, so that was a great show. It was sold out. It was, Galern was on it, and you, and I think Melissa, and so it was a fun show to. I would love to do more shows like that. So I got to be a little more. I'm not an aggressive person.
But you don't really have to be aggressive in that sense. I mean, you just have to show up, I think.
But I got to
talk about. But maybe your thing too is you don't really go like so. You don't really network. You're like, so what's life like for you? And you're talking to people, but you're never like, so I hear you book a show here. And
right. I have to be
I'd
more
really like to do that, or I'd MC for you because you know what too is like you're such a good MC, and there's such a lack of good MCs that's like. You could really shine in that category, and I think get more spots because a lot of people don't want to MC.
I mean, I've always felt I was too dry and sarcastic. Like Fraser Smith is a great because he's so like schmaltzy and like, hey baby, where you from?
Yeah.
And I'm the complete opposite of that. So, but at this point, I'd do anything. I'd open up for and. I'd do Battle Cam at this point.
Battle Cam's another issue.
That's another show we did that we got fired from.
That's right. Everybody got fired though.
But I mean,
I'm back there now doing that.
To get fired from Battle Cam is like getting cut from I don't know, the Clippers in the '80s. It's just kind of like, oh man, really? I mean, that was kind of a shot to the ego, but I didn't like doing it anyway. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't think you take it. You can't take it personally because it's such a subjective thing. And they go, "It's well, we don't like him and we don't like her, but we like this guy and we like that guy." And it's like, but there's no way of knowing what people really think of you. And their whole thing too is, it's not how good you are. I don't even know what it is because it's not how good you are. It's not what people think of you. There's no way to gauge the numbers of who's watching. It's his own personal taste.
They're like Comedy Time. They'll pretty much put up anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I did some god-awful videos for Comedy Time, and they put them up no hesitation.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they are just literally, you could take a picture of you with streaming video taking a dump, and Comedy Time would put it up. And it would get numbers.
Well, yeah, I think so. It's sort of like the adult film industry of comedy.
Because I did, the first video I did for them got like 4 million hits. It was just me interviewing this girl with grotesquely huge boobs. And so they thought I was a star. And so I would go to the porn star karaoke and interview these whores. And I would say I averaged 1 million hits on YouTube. And then they said, why don't you do stand-up? Maybe all these people watch your stand-up. And my stand-up clips on Comedy Time literally got like 800 views.
Well, you should have done stand-up with the girls standing there.
Yeah, but I was into the art.
Of course.
I write a lot, and I didn't want to use gimmicks, and then I mean the hockey jersey thing was a bit of a gimmick, but
But that's you too. I mean, you're a hockey guy,
but when Barry Katz told me you can't wear jerseys on stage because of logos, it kind of like ruined.
Make your own jersey.
Well, I didn't think that far into it. I got so discouraged, and I bombed horribly. That that was my first TV gig. It was my only TV gig. Was doing a pilot for Barry Katz, and it was called One Night Stand.
What about your own special, your own independent special?
Well, I'd like to, I've got the material, but I just, I'd like to build up a bit more of a fan base before I it's like you are famous enough where you can sell merchandise. Like people would want a Jeff Richards T-shirt with a funny logo or whatever. Me, I don't think they would be like, why would I? That's at least how I think about it. Why would anyone buy a T-shirt of mine? They don't even know who I am.
Yeah, but they will, and you're going to sell them eventually. So why not make them now and sell them as you go along, and build some buzz on your own behalf?
Well, I'm gonna talk to Ari on that. He's gonna be my, idea man.
I
Hype
mean, I
man.
don't know. I mean, it seems like the guys that look at Redman. I mean, he had some push from Rogan and stuff, but he created a whole thing out of it. It sells shirts and
I have to be more
I don't
like
know.
Dean Del Rey. I mean, that dude is been doing, amazing things in such a short amount of time. I have to be more like him. He's very aggressive and like, I remember once I was on a show in San Diego that wasn't very well promoted, and he called me up and said, "Hey, can I do the show with you?" I'm like, "How did you even know?" Like he's very incredibly hard worker, and
Yeah.
he just I admire.
And I think you don't. It's not like you hate on that. You learn from it,
Oh no, I mean most people
right?
would hate on him. They're like, "This guy's been doing comedy only 5 years and he's leapfrogging over me." I actually found motivation from him.
Yeah.
So, I have a weird admiration level on it. Like I admire Fabio. Like most people would be like, why would you admire him? Here's a dude who's a romance model man, cover man, in a business where, you're dead by your 25 because you're too old looking. And he's in his 50s, still gets work.
Yeah.
And, I would say he's probably not the most talented actor. He still gets acting work.
But it's sort of like the thing too. You ingratiate yourself to an audience, and then you now have an audience. Like just like you're the king of the open mics. You walk in there, and you're the king. Why are you the king? People love you. For some reason, people love you, and you just have to capitalize on that with T-shirt sales.
Yeah. I mean, like now my thing is being the late night heckler, king of the zing.
Yeah.
Much like when you walk into the room late night at the Comedy Store and Don Barris plays with you and just do the Louis Anderson thing, do, your other great impressions, and it gets the room going, That's, I'm like...
If people could see that...
Right.
Like if that could be a show, like if it was an arena around that would be like it would be like a popular thing.
It could almost be like a visual podcast, like how Don is the master at
But it's almost like you got to be there. You know what I mean? Like you have to be there to feel the weirdness, the silence of it. It's like the abyss. It's just you can't describe what it's like because it's not like any of the other clubs at that hour.
It's like the bar in Star
It's a
Wars.
freak show.
I mean, it literally is like the bar in Star Wars where every unsavory character on the Sunset Strip ends up at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, like I was saying, it is like a dive bar.
Right.
In that, the rules are bent.
The rules are
There
obliterated.
are no rules, yeah.
I mean, people are having sex in the main room while the show's going on.
Yet, if somebody swept in and became new management there and said, you know what, everything stops, it would be, you'd feel it. It would do. It's like a lot of people hate that place, but if it went away, it would be a void in a lot of people's lives. I mean, a big void.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
because it's a place you can go to that you just
it's so
it's the
fun.
It's the last place you go to, but it's the first place you think of, I guess.
It's like the last few nights David Arquette has been up there, and I think he's trying to get into stand up, and of course we're all fans because he was obviously he's a very successful actor from a very successful family of actors. A lot of people don't know this, but David Arquette's little brother, who's now his sister, they had a
what?
He I'm not sure if they had a full-on sex change, but like
the little brother.
The little brother was in the Tubes video, She's a Beauty. He was the little kid who went in and looked at the girl, the mermaid.
Oh, really?
It's very, and obviously the Toto song, Rosanna, was written about his sister.
Oh, really?
Because I think Jeff Porcaro from Toto was dating her, and Patricia Arquette's in Boardwalk Empire. I mean, it's probably the most successful working family in the business. He's been up there hanging out, and all the comics are fans of his because we're wrestling fans, and he was at one point the WCW champion. So he goes up there and messes with the crowd, and you don't get that at the Improv or Laugh Factory.
That's right.
But, well, listen, man, I'm sensing there's enough things to talk about where we could go on for part 2. But, like I said, I don't want to drag on too long.
And you cut this down to, what, 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, we're going to cut this down to the 2-minute podcast. We know what we're doing at the Skakel House with Ari Manis in charge. So, do you have anything you want to plug?
No.
Other than,
when's it air?
We're going to work on that. Probably in a week or 2 weeks maybe.
2 weeks? Why does it take 2 weeks?
Because we got to get set up on iTunes, and we're not really set up. We're
He can't hear you.
Yeah, what we're doing is
2 weeks would be what? That would be April?
The podcast last week. This might be the first podcast.
This is exciting.
Breaking news from Skakel Sound Studios on Larrabee. By the way, I live right next door to the old Larrabee Sound Studios, which is now a gay nightclub.
There's an energy from that.
But there is, because some of the greatest albums from the '80s were filmed on recorded on.
They used to
street.
film the albums. Nobody knows that.
Prince's Purple Rain.
That's right.
Done on the street. Ozzy's Ultimate Sin. Bark at the Moon. And many, many other. There's a lot of history.
Still going, the Larrabee Sound Studios?
No, now it's a gay nightclub called 11.
Okay, well, that's nice.
And, so there we go. But Jeff Richards.
Thanks for having me.
I've been humbled and honored to have you. You're a successful actor, a musician. You can see Jeff at the Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, Improv. He tours all over the country. I think he still opens up a little bit with Chris Kattan.
Not so much, but I'm doing some shows at tastyjeff.com. You can see I got some shows over the next few months.
And you're on
out of town.
Twitter
at the Jeff Richards. At the
Jeff Richards. You if you see Rob Schneider in town, Jeff might be with him. I might be with him. And this is episode number 2 of Inappropriate Earl. Tune in and review us on iTunes when we're on it. That is all. Suck it.